something was wrong the moment the ring started beating. Not vibrating, not shaking. Beating, like a heartbeat. Slow, steady, not mine. Like something inside it was alive. And in that moment, I remembered exactly what she told me when she gave it to me. From today, your life will change, but you must follow the rules. I thought she was talking about business. I didn't know. She meant something else entirely. The ring didn't just sit on my finger, it pulsed, a slow rhythmic throb that matched a heartbeat that wasn't my own. I remember looking down at my hand as the Togo sun beat down on the low market, watching the gold band shimmer with an oily, unnatural light. It was the first day I had worn it, and already the air around my stall felt different, heavy, electric, and smelling faintly of ozone and old, stagnant water. I stood there, a simple businessman from Ghana, watching the crowds part around me as if I were a boulder in a stream, and I realized with a sudden cold jolt in my stomach that the woman I had called a sister for years had just handed me the keys to a kingdom I wasn't sure I wanted to inhabit. I've spent most of my life on the road between Accra and Lome. You know, the life of a cross-border trader isn't for the faint of heart. It's a world of bus stations, the constant negotiation at customs, and the hunt for the best fabrics to bring back home. I was good at it, but I wasn't rich. I was surviving. That was until I met the woman I'll call Madame Beatrice. She sold high-end women's clothing in a prime spot in the market, and for years, she allowed me to set up my small display right behind her shop every Thursday. We became close, proper family close. We shared meals of fufu and light soup, talked about our struggles, and she listened to me lament about the slow growth of my business. One afternoon, when the heat was particularly oppressive, she leaned in and whispered that my star was being dimmed by people who didn't want to see me rise. She told me about a powerful man, a pastor, who could clear my path. I trusted her. Why wouldn't I? She had been my protector in that market for 3 years. When she arranged for a private car to take me to her house the following morning, I went with a heart full of hope, thinking I was headed to a prayer session that would finally break my streak of bad luck. The driver was silent for the entire 2-hour journey. We drove deep into a part of the city I didn't recognize, where the houses were hidden behind high walls, topped with jagged glass and sprawling bougainvillea. When we arrived, he didn't say a word, just gestured for me to get out, and then pulled away immediately. I stood in the courtyard of a massive, silent villa, the morning air unnervingly still. I waited in a comfortable room, resting my head against the cool wall, drifting into a light, easy sleep. I woke to the sound of a heavy wooden door creaking open. Beatrice stepped out, but she wasn't the woman I knew from the market. She was dressed in a floor-length garment of the deepest red, the color of drying blood. Her eyes looked glassy, fixed on something just behind my shoulder. "Enter," she said, her voice sounding like 2 stones grinding together. Inside, the house was dark, the windows draped in thick velvet. The air was thick with the scent of burning herbs and something metallic. She led me to a back room, an altar room. Candles of various colors were guttering in the corners, throwing long dancing shadows against walls lined with jars containing things I couldn't identify. She didn't pray to the God I knew. She told me to undress. Fear is a strange thing. It can freeze you or it can make you compliant. In that moment, surrounded by the unknown, I did as I was told. She sat at her altar and began a low, rhythmic chant in a language that sounded ancient and jagged. Her voice rose and fell, filling the room until the floorboards seemed to vibrate. She reached into a small, ornate box and pulled out the ring. "I care for you, Kwame," she said, using my Saturday-born name. "I don't want to see you struggle anymore. This isn't a church, and I didn't bring you here for a sermon. You are meant for greatness, but greatness requires a different kind of alliance. Join us. Join the circle that moves the world while others sleep. She took my hand. Her skin was unnaturally cold. As she slid the ring onto my finger, she gave me the first of the rules. You are now a child of the shadows. From this day forward, you do not work on Saturdays. Saturday is the day of your birth, and it belongs to the spirits that now walk with you. Go to the market every other day, but on Saturdays, you remain still. Then she handed me a small frosted bottle filled with clear water. Every morning, before you lay out your wares, sprinkle this water over your goods. Don't speak to anyone until the first drop touches the fabric. Do this, and the world will beg to give you its gold. I left that house in a daze, the ring feeling like a lead weight on my hand. I tried to tell myself it was just a ritual, a psychological trick to boost my confidence. But when the next week started, and I sprinkled that water on my dresses, I watched as people who usually walked past me without a glance suddenly stopped. They didn't just look, they were drawn in, their eyes moving in a trance-like state. They bought everything. By noon, I was sold out. 2 weeks passed and I hadn't returned to Beatrice's shop. I was too busy counting money. I traveled to Takoradi, expanding my reach, the ring constantly throbbing against my skin. When I finally returned to Loam to see her, the air in her shop felt different, colder. The ring is working, she said, not as a question but as a statement. But the ring was a gift. Now comes the contract. There is a price for the momentum you've gained. She beckoned me to the back of her shop, where she pulled out a stack of currency, more money than I had ever seen in one place. Add this to your capital, she commanded. But from this moment on, 1/3 of every cent you earn belongs to the altar. You will bring it to me every month, and you will never question where the money comes from or where it goes. I took the money. My greed was starting to outweigh my fear. Within 3 months, I wasn't just a trader. I was a wealthy man. I bought a house, a car, and dressed in the finest silks. But my family began to look at me with suspicion. My brothers, who I had grown up with in the small villages of Ghana, wouldn't touch the gifts I brought home. They said my eyes looked different, that they looked like the eyes of a predator. Then came the invitation to Dubai. Beatrice told me we were going for a leadership meeting. We flew first class, but the luxury felt hollow. My skin was starting to crawl whenever the ring touched it. In Dubai, we didn't stay in the glitzy hotels I'd seen in magazines. We were driven far out, near a dark, silent river that seemed misplaced in that desert landscape. The meeting place was a secluded villa, even more imposing than the one in Loam. We weren't alone. Men in expensive suits, men I recognized from the news, some pastors of huge congregations, some politicians, were there, all wearing that same glassy expression. We were led to a central courtyard where a man sat on a raised platform. He was ancient, his skin like parchment, and before him sat a large, weathered calabash filled with shredded pieces of paper. The rules are individual, Beatrice whispered. What you pull from the bowl is your path. It is the service you provide to the circle in exchange for your throne. When it was my turn, I reached into the calabash. The paper I pulled was jagged, with dark ink that seemed to squirm as I read it. The instruction was clear, and it turned my blood to ice. I was to be a destiny harvester. For the next 4 years, I lived a double life. I was given powers, actual terrifying spiritual abilities. I had my own gods now, small idols I kept in a hidden room in my Ekra home. People started coming to me for help. Pastors from across the region would visit me in the dead of night, looking for the kind of growth that God doesn't provide. I gave it to them, but the cost was always the same. My specific task, the one the Spirit dictated to me, was the most horrific. I was instructed to find and sleep with women who carried great destinies. The spirit would whisper to me in my sleep, or sometimes as I walked through the mall. "That one," it would say. "The child she carries in her future will be a light that could destroy our works. Extinguish it now." When I slept with these women, I wasn't just committing an act of infidelity or lust. I was performing a ritual. I could feel the light leaving them, a coldness entering their eyes. I was aborting their futures before they even began. I saw women who were meant to be doctors, leaders, and mothers of great men turn into hollow shells of themselves, their lives spiraling into tragedy and bad luck the moment I walked out the door. I did this for 4 years. I had children all over the country, children I wasn't allowed to father, children born under shadows. My own family completely disowned me. My mother, on her deathbed, refused to see me. She told my brothers that the air around me smelled of rotting souls. The wealth was immense, but the silence in my house was louder. Every night I would see the faces of the women I had destroyed. I would see the shredded papers from the calabash dancing in the corners of my room. The ring had grown so tight it was burying itself into my flesh, the skin around it turning a bruised, necrotic purple. 3 months ago, I reached my breaking point. I woke up and realized I couldn't remember the last time I had felt a moment of genuine peace or a flicker of God's sunlight on my face. I went to Beatrice. I expected a fight, but I didn't expect the atmospheric shift that occurred the moment I entered her shop. "I can't do this anymore," I told her, my voice trembling. "I have the money, I have the power, but I have no soul left. My siblings won't even mention my name. Take it back. Take the ring. Take the idols. Take the water." Beatrice didn't scream. She didn't threaten me with words. She simply smiled, a slow, terrifying peeling back of her lips. "You think you can just return a gift to the shadows, Kwame? You've been our hands for 4 years. You've tasted the wine. You can't go back to water." I left the items there, the ring, the bottle, the small idols from my home. I walked away with nothing but the clothes on my back. But the banter, as I call it, has only just begun. Since the day I returned those things, I haven't slept for more than an hour at a time. I hear the chanting in the walls of my apartment. I see Beatrice's face in the reflections of store windows. I am in a spiritual battle that most people wouldn't believe exists. The reason I'm telling you this, the reason I share this account, is because I see so many of you, especially the youth, desperate for a shortcut. You see the cars, the clothes, the overnight success of people on the internet, and you wonder why it isn't happening for you. You think a little charm or a special prayer from a questionable source won't hurt. If you've listened to my other experiences, you know I'm a man of facts, but these facts are written in the spiritual realm. The devil doesn't give anything for free. He's a predatory lender with interest rates that will cost you your lineage. I am fighting every day to find my way back to Christ, to find a sliver of the peace I threw away for a gold ring and a bottle of cursed water. Don't look for powers to do business. Don't look for dark groups to hasten your prosperity. When the time is right, if you work hard and keep your hands clean, the universe has a way of providing what is truly yours. If you take what isn't yours through these means, the universe will correct you, and that correction is more painful than any poverty you can imagine. I'm still here, still fighting, still looking for the light. I'm sharing these truths because there are more stories like this. Darker stories, deeper secrets about the trade and the things that move in the night that you need to hear before you make a mistake you can't undo. If you want to understand the reality of the shadows we walk through, stay with me. Subscribe and listen, because the truth is the only thing that can keep you from the path I took. Be grateful for your little, for it is clean. Be content with what God provides, because when you invite the shadows in, they never truly leave.